Hello everyone, welcome to Rachel Pichler Yoga. In case we haven't met before, my name is Rachel. Today we're doing a lower body focused flexibility practice. So find just a little bit of space to move and let's get started. So we are going to begin today in a lovely toe squat. So you can come over onto your hands and knees. I like to bring my knees and my feet together, but you're just going to tuck your toes under to create length through the bottom of the toes. And then as you sit back towards your heels, you should feel the stretch get a little bit deeper, but you can always take some weight into your hands, maybe even have the hips off of the heels. You are able to sit back on the heels completely. You can rest your hands maybe on your lap. Let your shoulders fall from your ears. We're not going to stay here very long. Just feel the length through the toes. And maybe smile. Always a very easy way to get right into the practice. If you have your hands lifted, bring them down. You can come off of your toes. Maybe give them a little bit of a shake. Maybe even a nice little tap on the ground. And then we're just going to stay on our hands and knees, but you can walk your knees back together, your legs back together. We're going to take our right leg back behind us, the foot over to the left side, crossing the legs here. If you can bend your right leg and bring the knee down to the outside edge of the left calf, you can start there. And then maybe we'll widen the feet a little bit more, kind of scooching the knees closer together, the inner legs together, and letting the feet open up. You can stay on your hands, or you can start to shift your weight back or walk your hands towards your knees. And maybe you can take a seat all the way down on the ground between your feet, and then you can adjust the feet out a little bit wider there, just letting the knees kind of stack on top of one another as best they can. Bring some length into the spine if you are sitting all the way down. And then we're just going to come right back over. If you did start to sit down or you're halfway there, tip back over, come onto your hands again. As gracefully as you can uncross your legs, you can let them uncross. Maybe take a gentle sway of the hips, but you can bring your knees back together, send your left leg out behind, off to the right. You can start by bending the knee, trying to bring it down to the ground. Maybe this is as far as you go. Maybe you start to widen the feet, scooch the knees together, the inner legs together a little bit more. And then maybe you start to try and sit back on the ground between the feet. Let the feet come out even wider once you're down. Trying to stack the knees, cross the legs for your cow face pose, lengthening through the spine, and then just starting to make your way all the way back over onto your hands and onto your knees, uncrossing the legs. You can bring your knees hip width apart if you'd like, and maybe take a sway of the hips side to side. And then we're going to be bringing our left foot forwards. We're going to set up a lunge with our left foot forwards to start. So you can rest on the top of your back foot, sink into the hips. Find that right hip flexor, that right quad. We're going to start to heel toe the left foot over to the edge of the mat. You might turn your foot so it's out on an angle. Let your knee fall out to the side too. Coming into a lizard, sinking into your hips. Now you can stay with your hands down, or you can start to turn your chest towards the left side. Maybe you'll start to bend your right leg. Maybe you can point your toes up behind you. If you're able to catch your foot, you can grab your foot, but you don't have to. You can try to lift it without any help from your arm, your hand. Feeling the quads still sinking into the hips. And if you do have your back leg bent, gentle as you bring it down to the ground again. And let's start to heel toe the foot back to the middle of our mat. And then all the way back into tabletop as gracefully as you can come back onto your knees. Maybe giving the hips a little bit of a sway. And then our right foot is going to come forwards, moving right along today. No time to stay in one place for very long. Sink into your hips. Find your left hip flexor, quad. You can start to heel toe your right foot off to the side when you're ready to set up your lizard. Hands down, sinking into the hips. Staying here on both of your hands, or you can start to turn your chest to the right towards your knee. And then maybe you're going to lift your left foot. Give your hamstring a little bit of a squeeze to lift the foot, maybe catching the foot with your hand, maybe not. You do have your foot lifted up though, gentle, graceful. Slowly let it come back down. Come onto your hands again, then start to heel toe your foot to the middle of your mat. Then pushing back and into your tabletop. Take a gentle sway of your hips side to side. We're going to cross our ankles, sit down with your legs coming out in front of you. Let's send both of our legs out long. You can have a nice bend through the knees, but you might be pointing your toes up. You might have your legs out longer, still pointing your toes up. With an inhale, bring some length into your spine though. Stay sitting tall, or you can start to tip forwards with the chest. Keep pointing your toes up to stretch the calves, the hamstrings, if you're lucky to. And then with an inhale, we're going to start to lift back up again. You can bend your knees, maybe even hug them in towards your chest, give them a squeeze. We're going to be finding double pigeon from here today. So we can start by, let's take our right leg and bring it on top. So if you can bring your foot on top of your knee, maybe leaning back a little bit, maybe starting to flex the feet, pointing the toes forwards. We're going to try and bring our top knee down towards our bottom foot so the lower legs are stacking on top of one another. You can lengthen through your spine. You can continue to lean back. You could start to tip forwards if your hips allow you to do so. Then we're just going to be coming right back up and switching sides. So gently uncross your legs, maybe a quick squeeze of the knees. Shake it out a little, and then bringing your left foot, trying to bring it on top of your knee as best you can, and maybe leaning back, maybe starting to sit tall. Pointing the toes forwards, trying to drop the top knee towards the bottom foot. Lengthening through the spine, maybe tipping forwards. And then slowly lifting back up. Uncross your legs, give your knees a quick little squeeze, a hug, maybe a rock side to side. And then send your legs, both of them, out long, out wide. Pointing your toes up. Lengthening through the spine, maybe hands on the ground behind you for support, push into the fingertips. Maybe in front of you, starting to feel the inner legs though. You can stay sitting fairly tall. You can start to tip forwards. Again, if your body allows you to do so, take a gentle tip forward. Take just another breath wherever you happen to be, and then it is over. Bring your hands to your legs and help them come back together. Give them a squeeze, a hug. We're going to send our legs out long one more time for another forward fold. Maybe feeling a little bit better this time. Pointing the toes up if you'd like, and maybe bending the knees. Maybe the legs are straighter, but lengthen through the spine. And then if it does feel right to do so, leaning forwards with the chest. Take a moment. Take a breath. And then using an inhale to lift back up again. Bend your knees, hug them towards your chest. A hug or a squeeze. And then let's come back over onto our knees. Back into our toe squat to be exact. Tuck the toes, lengthen through each and every toe. Don't forget about the baby toes that sometimes get left behind. Feel free to keep taking some weight into the hands or sit back again. Close your eyes. Relax your forehead. Let your lips start to curl up. See if you can let go of your feet for a moment. And take a big, slow, deep breath. And just when you think you can't stay any longer, we can start to come out. Bring your hands down. Give your toes a nice little love tap, a little shake. Rest on the tops of the feet, maybe sitting back on the heels. Stay seated here or lean back and maybe float the knees. Stretch the top of the ankles. Forget about your toes. And then gently come back. Bring your knees down again if they're up. Cross your ankles and have a seat. Cross-legged or another comfortable seat. Bring your hands to your knees or your lap. Let your eyes close. Notice the sensations flowing throughout your legs, maybe the ankles, the toes, maybe all the way up your legs to your glutes and hips. Awesome practice, you guys. Thank you for joining me for the short and sweet, lovely leg stretch. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, and until next time, namaste.